Okay, you're a coach, an expert, consultant, speaker, you got a real passion for something that you want to teach. Are you struggling to come up with some engaging content, some lessons, some course content? You're overwhelmed or just don't know where to start? Well, in this video, we're going to go through how I actually created hundreds of ideas for all of my courses, or at least a grouping of courses, using ChatGPT and just a couple prompts. Actually, more of a conversation with ChatGPT, but we'll get into that in a minute. So here's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to try out something new here today. This one's called the video pencil. So I'm just going to open this one up, and this is kind of what we're going to look at this whole process. So the first thing is we're going to make sure that you see that we have something called, we're going to do the campus blueprint. Okay, so we got a campus blueprint. That's going to be our big mind map, the area that we focus on while we're doing this. And in that particular area, we actually have the blueprint. Technically it has 10 steps, but I always say it's 9 steps in that particular process that we teach about building a training site and teaching online. So we got 9 steps here. And the interesting thing with the steps is you're going to see that they're into 4 categories. There we go. So we got 9 steps and 4 categories of these steps. So how does this all fit into everything? I'm going to show you the map, the steps. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I created. There we go. So we're going to use ChatGPT for that. And really kind of take it easy and see how we can put this all together in a way that allows us to create questions easily and quickly. So let's dive in, take a look at this. And I'm going to open up first of all with the map. So we'll bring the map in here so that you can see it and see how it actually looks and what's in that particular piece. And this map is the mind map, and it's available for download at teachonline.io if you don't have it or want to get a download of stuff. And you notice right now we're just looking at it says 9 here. There's one kind of other piece. So sometimes I say 9, sometimes I say 10. But there's a process here or pieces that are grouped together, and they're in those categories. So what are the categories? The first 3 categories: research a topical authority map, outline the campus goals, clarify business models. That's really all about the research that you need to do as you're building this out, right? So what does all of this look like? What is my education business going to be about? What courses am I doing? What's the purpose of them? If you're going to treat it as a business, you need to have these things done. And more importantly, you're going to have to do research about the course content, right? And this, if it's actually going to sell. So that's where the topical authority map comes in. And if you notice just on the right-hand side, see where my mouse is moving around a little bit here? You'll see it says 27. This yellow one here has 20. We've got 78 here. These are all different parts of the process. I'm just showing the 10 main ones here. But a topical authority map is where this all starts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you use ChatGPT to go through some of these pieces to come up with lesson ideas through them. So we've got one category here. That's the first category. That's about all of the research and getting started. And then the other categories is like, how am I going to build? I've got to build my campus. Where am I going to distribute these courses from? How am I going to sell them? How do they get distributed? How do they get displayed? How do they get organized? That's the campus technical part. And then I've got to have build my courses, right? So we're starting up here, the first 3. These next 3 or 4 all are about building our campus and our courses. And then 7, 8, and 9 is all about how do I put it into the platform and start marketing it and selling my courses, my campus, and the outcome that I promised. So that's the map. And again, this is covered in detail as courses in teachonline.io. The download of the map is available there for free. Go check it out. There's all sorts of other material that's there for you as well. So that's kind of the big start. Is we've got this process, we've put it in place. How do we actually come up with course ideas? This is a process I have, but what are the questions that I'm answering for people? When it comes to creating courses, you have to remember that you have to answer questions that other people have, not questions that you have as the instructor or questions you think you want to teach people. It's about what are the questions that they have and how do they get organized or How do you make it or present it in a way that makes it easy for them to learn, and more in fact be engaged and part of the community and get that outcome hopefully that you've promised for them. So let's take a look and see how this works right now. We've got the map here again. I'm going to show you what I did on ChatGPT to come up with all of this, and we'll open up the screen here on another one, and we'll just do a see if we can get it over. Let's make it a little bigger there. Hopefully you should be able to see it, and if I'm not mistaken, I'll be able to zoom it in a little bit. There we go, might be a little bit bigger. So these prompts I'll make available to you, but what I wanted to do is, first of all, I was just asking, saying, you know what, give me 100 of the most frequently asked questions in the specified categories. So I took the categories. Remember we just talked about the 4? Researching the market, outlining the goals, business models. These are all of the things that came up in that first part of the category, right? So I went a little bit deeper, and again, I was asking it more. I wanted to do the research part. I was saying, you know, I'm just in that first 3 steps of the process. I'm just starting out. I want to make sure that I know all of the questions that my learners or students have. So how can I make course content that answers those questions? And when you're stuck and you don't know, you can use ChatGPT to do this quickly. So I basically asked, I said, what are the most frequently asked questions when someone is trying to figure out if they should create a course? Because no one knows, should I create the course? Is it worthwhile? Is it something I can earn money from? Or is it important for my business? How do I do it? And ChatGPT came up and it said, when someone's trying to figure out or do the research on what they should create a course, they often have a lot of questions. And it's funny because it came up with actual 12, I think it was 12, 13, 14, pardon me, 15 different areas of that category that I had. It came up with 15 kind of different areas where there's a lot of questions. So it came up with ones, for example, like, you know, how do I know if there's market demand? How do I know who the audience is? What should I put in for course content? What technical skills do I need? How much is it going to cost me? How am I going to earn money from it? How am I going to monetize it? Is there a revenue stream? Am I going to earn enough money to make it worthwhile? How am I going to market and promote it? What competition do I have? Credibility and expertise. Do I need that? What's the platform I should use? How do I keep people engaged? How do I get feedback and improvement? And if you look at these quickly, you can see that it does a really good job of just coming up with areas of questions that are really important. So I'm thinking about this and I go, great, how can I turn this into lessons, or what's another way that I can use this that makes sense if I'm going to create course content about doing the research that was in my own map. So think of it for yourself. If you were looking at it and you're going, okay, I've got a map of what my process is. Can I break the process down, and can I use the same approach using ChatGPT to ask questions that your potential students have? Once I did that, what I did is I said, you know what? I want you to reply with only specific questions. I'll bring this in again. I want you to reply with only specific questions a potential course creator would ask if they are researching whether or not they should create an online course and sell it. So it gave me a big overview at the start of the different categories, but I'm saying right now, I said, for that first category, that first one that you copy here, number one, market demand. I want to know for market demand, what are the 25 most important questions that someone who's creating an online course would want to use? And what did it do? It gave me 33 questions to answer. Now, what are all of these questions? Technically, they are lessons, or they are part of a lesson. So if you're struggling to come up with content at any time, just remember to come up with questions that the people who are your potential students that they have, and do them in order of importance and apply them to the process that you're teaching. So it came up with a whole bunch of questions that can be done and used individually, again, as a lesson. And if you are an expert at this, and actually came up with the default questions. I have to excuse myself here. They came up with 100 on the, I asked for 100, and it gave me 100 default questions in that area before the individual categories. You can see there's 100 there. I've got them, and I wanted them for Google Sheets. It didn't do a great formatting, and I'll show you in a second what happened with that one. Keep on scrolling down. You're going to see that there is one that I said 25 most frequently asked questions related for searching for market demand. So the first time it gave me 100 for all of those 15 categories, I broke it down and I said, give me 25 for each individual category. This time what it did is it gave me 25 questions that are covering just figuring out if there's market demand. How can I use customer feedback to determine? How do I use SEO tools to assess market demand? How do I use social media, or what social media platforms are best for researching whether or not it's a demand for a course? So how do I use webinar and live events? So you can go through, take a look at these. These are lessons for your course. These are ones now that I can go through personally and actually do video tutorials, answer in terms of information, PDFs, webinars, all of that content I need to create. These are 25 ones for marketing demand. Now, I did these for all 15 different ones, for example. So, you know, if I wanted to go, what are the technical skills required for creating an online course? It gave me 25. What software do I need? What equipment do I need? How do you do edits? How do you do presentations? Do I need a LMS? Do I need to know how to use an LMS? How do I create PDF? How do I do the graphics? How do I integrate payment gateways in course sales? So 25 questions there. Time and effort. How do I balance creating the courses and selling the courses? You know, how can I streamline it? How can I do it faster? How do I track my process? How do I have other people help me? Came up with 25 there. So I went through all 15 categories, and what I did is I asked it to create 25 questions, and I asked them to be done in order of importance. And again, you have to take this obviously with a grain of salt. The idea I'm getting point is we got 25 questions for 15 categories. 25 questions for 15 categories. If you can't come up with a lesson or two out of 100, or well, we got 25 times 15, okay? So that's 250. We got 300 questions that are there available for you, more than 300 questions. Competition, how do I find competition? I did these for mine, you can do them for yours. So what did I do with all these, right? I've got them all here, feedback improvement, I broke them all down. What I did is I want to keep track of them, right? So here's what I did personally. I'll pull another screen over here. And we'll do this one here, see if I can get it over. Let's do these two. There we go. I'm going to open this one up. Okay, so what I did is I took the 100 questions that came up, right? Those first 100, and I put them in just so that I have them. Those are kind of the main research questions. And if you look down on the bottom here, what I did is I just added another tab on the sheet for the first 25 for each of the categories. So now I have a situation where I have all of these individual question topics that are in a specific category in order of importance. Okay, so let's take a look at this process again. What did I do on this one? So I went originally, and in this case, I looked at my map or my main mind map for my process or the business that I'm in, the training that I'm trying to do, the teaching that I want to teach. I put it into the different steps of the process, and I broke that process into categories. Now, you don't have to do that. Obviously, it doesn't have to be categories for you, but that's the way that I did it. And the reason that I did it is because I wanted to group the questions in those categories in the process. If you have a process that's only 3 steps, obviously you won't have to do it. If you have a process that's 7 steps, you might have 3 in one category, 3 in another category, 2 in another. So you got to make some decisions on how you want to do that. I just broke it into the 4 areas that I talk about, 3 to 4, which is about starting, building the campus and the courses, and growing the different parts of it. So that's an education business for me, or those are the key ones. So I broke it into those categories, and then I took that first category, the research one, and I wanted to take the individual questions and I broke those into these questions here. Market demand, audience identification, course content, technical skills, all of those individual pieces that are there, time and effort, marketing and promotion, competition, credibility and expertise, course platforms, student engagement, feedback and improvement, legal. Again, these are all things that come up with that you can focus on. Okay, so where do we go with this? You're going to have a ChatGPT account. I'll leave the prompts below here so that you can see how I did it. What I want you to understand is it's drop dead simple to create course content now, and it can be done quickly. The other thing that I run into a lot is people go, well, I need to have a specific ChatGPT tool to create course content. There's some really good ones available, but you don't have to use them if you get comfortable conversing with ChatGPT. And if you take a look at what we did, if you were paying attention on the screen there, that was one big long chat that I had a conversation. I didn't use a specific chat. I used a specific structure of chat. So get comfortable talking to this technology, this AI technology. It's going to put you in a position where you can create content quickly, that's effective, that's wanted by your customers. And more importantly, you're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to not only build a business, but you're going to be able to help people and share what it already is that you love and that you do, and earn some cash, build a business with it as well. If you haven't had a chance, like and subscribe, of course. Check out teachonline.io to learn how to do this yourself. And if you go, man, I'm just overwhelmed, I don't know where to start, I just want someone to do it for me, talk to us at trainingsites.io, and I'll do my best to have a quick 30-minute call with you, and I'll answer all of your questions, how it applies to your unique situation. This is James Maduke speaking, trainingsites.io, teachonline.io. Take care, expect the best.